What up, y'all? So, I want to apologize to my homeboys, Chill, Marcus, and Darius over at Planet Fanatics because I went on their stream with all of the best intentions. And when I watched it on replay, the whole vibe of the stream changed when I left. And I feel like maybe I brought the mood in the room down, and that wasn't my intention. I really came on there to explain my idea in more detail to Marcus because I had put in the chat like, hey, we need to redo the petition. Because I think over time, the message of recasting T'Challa has gotten lost in translation. So I just want to apologize to you fellas. But I do want to do this video on how important it is to recast T'Challa. Now, at first, I was not on the train because personally, I've read a lot of books, watched a lot of movies. My first job ever was in the movie business, and almost every single job thereafter in some capacity has been involved with movies and TV. So with that being said, I'm personally used to characters dying. All of my favorite characters died. When Aaliyah died, we didn't get to continue Akasha's story. So at first, I did not fully understand the passion behind the need for a recast. Because like I said, all my favorite characters be dying all the time. I be reading George R.R. Martin books. Also, I felt like at the time, Ryan Coogler made a decision that he thought was best for his team. I don't think he was making a decision to intentionally harm the audience. I think at that time, the general population, especially Black people, was like, no, don't recast. So I think he did what he thought was right. I also think, my theory, he thought by introducing T'Challa Jr., that is a way to keep the story going. Now, hindsight is 2020. Maybe the project could have been delayed. Maybe there could have been an immediate recast. Maybe it could have been a blip movie. So many options that, unfortunately, in the heat of grieving, there was an alternate decision made. And I think a lot of people from that cast are still grieving. So, now that we're in 2025, all things seem to point to T'Challa is not going to be recast. I know for sure there's not a T'Challa erasure mandate. I just think that a lot of the creators at Marvel has unfortunately put Chadwick, T'Challa, and Ryan Coogler together, and maybe people don't want to play with the T'Challa toy without contacting Coogler. Now, one thing I can say about Marvel is they will make changes. They will make changes in post-production. They will do reshoots. They will make changes, and changes can happen. So, I don't think all hope is lost for T'Challa. I do feel like Coogler is not open to it right now because he has a trilogy he wants to tell. However, I think when it comes to recasting T'Challa, I'm going to give y'all some game. You have to really get to Ryan Coogler. If we are going to get really serious about running a campaign for recasting T'Challa, now is the time to do it. And it has to be done in a pragmatic, creative, and fiscal way. If we're serious about it, there has to be money put behind this, and there has to be some level of organization. We can't keep getting on streams talking to our same people, which is an echo chamber. We don't have to keep telling them to recast T'Challa. They already know. Some of them do anyway. Most of them know the ins and outs of this campaign. Like I was trying to say on Darius' stream, I think there needs to be a new petition, very clear. I also think we need to branch out and start bringing other people in to help facilitate the message. No, we may not be able to get the folks at New Rock Stars to come on the stream, but there are a lot of other content creators who will stream and possibly get on board with the message. Now, the downside is Ryan Coogler is not on social media, but a lot of people from his team is on social media. They are very easy to reach out to. So if you can't get to Ryan Coogler, talk to the people close to him. Send an email, write a letter. Some of this stuff is just old-fashioned contacting people, letting Ryan Coogler know how important it is to recast T'Challa. Another thing we can do is Ryan Coogler is about to do press. Reach out to all these people who he's about to do press with and just say, hey, can y'all ask him about T'Challa? Now, some people, they gonna do it anyway. If he goes to Van Lathan's show, Van gonna ask him. If they go to the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne gonna ask him. But outside of that, don't be afraid of contacting some of these media members and see if they'll ask. Chio is on social media every day. There's only one person standing between him and Ryan Coogler. And the person standing between Chio and Ryan Coogler is Joe Robert Cole. Joe Robert Cole is another person who's a good contact. Also, Kenan Coogler. Once again, Ryan Coogler, he's not like Zack Snyder. He's not like James Gunn. He's not on social media like that. So he doesn't see this stuff. So you got to get to the people who are close to him. Another way to get the message moving forward is put some money behind the campaign. Put up a billboard. Put it on the same freeway that Ryan Coogler has to ride by every day and see it. Get some t-shirts printed up. Give them away. These are just some creative things that when you care about a campaign, there's things that can be done. We're about to hit summer. There's about to be cons everywhere. MegaCon, Comic-Con. Let's get some merch printed up. If T'Challa is important, let's go to work. It's enough of us that know people. We should be able to get some of this stuff together. That's how I feel. If we really gonna get busy about it, because there's still enough time. I also think there should be one narrative and we should stick on it, and it should be a realistic narrative to pitch to everybody. Now to me, common sense to me would say, y'all, let's go with the variant. It's the easiest, cleanest thing to do. It doesn't disrespect Coogler's story from Wakanda Forever. It flows into the multiversal saga. Have a variant T'Challa, and Coogler can still tell his story of this father-son duo. We not finna prune the baby. Okay, baby TJ gets to stay. I also think like some of the more disrespectful people in the movie, we need to get them boys in order, because you get more flies with honey. Gotta be a little nicer. I don't think the Russos have precedence over Coogler. I personally feel like what I've heard is it's always gonna be a variant. I have not heard from one person that they're about to age up this child and the Russos are about to take Ryan Coogler's story over and create the development for the child that he introduced. That is just crazy that scoopers think that the Russos are about to either age up Toussaint or pull a Toussaint variant from another universe and Ryan Coogler not involved with that story. Y'all imagine this conversation. Kevin Feige looking at Coogler on Zoom and is like, hey, you know that kid you introduced? I know you working on Sinners, but Joe Russo's about to age him up and tell that story. Bruh, that would be crazy. The only way this child gets aged up in Secret Wars is if Ryan Coogler is in that writing room with them, because how the heck is the Russos about to take his character he introduced, cast him, age him up, and then just give him back to Coogler for Black Panther 3? Nah. They would have to be collaborating, and that child would have already been cast. So I've been putting the child to the side. I don't think that's happening. Not now anyway. It's too early. I've always thought it was just going to be a variant. Now, I will say T'Chanda or T'Chaka never came to my mind. But it goes to show you how far even the Russos are going by trying not to conflict with what Coogler has going on. They're going so far away that they're thinking about using T'Chanda. This concept artist did not create concept for T'Chanda for no reason. There is conversation about it. Matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can get a concept artist on my page to explain how this process goes. Because I think that is just such a very interesting, intentional choice to pick T'Chanda. Wow. Not a T'Challa variant for concept art. T'Chanda. Now, don't get me wrong. There is going to have to be conversations eventually with Coogler, because once the Russos get to messing with Shuri and Okoye and M'Baku and Namor, they're going to want his input on how to handle them. So I think there's going to be conversations very soon. That's also why I don't think all hope is lost for T'Challa. I think there just has to be a different kind of push if we really care. I realize why T'Challa is important. I don't think the general audience does. And that's when we have to make it known in an effective way. But yeah, man, that was just some of the ideas I was just thinking about and throwing around. So we all need to get together, put our money in a pot, and let's really get this campaign going if we really care. Now, if not, hey, let them boys tell their story and let them rock out, and just don't support it. If it doesn't feed into the narrative that you want as a consumer, don't spend your money with it. But I also think we can't just expect them to do what we may want them to do if they're not aware of why it's important to do that. I think Ryan Coogler understands why there should be Black male representation. I think Ryan Coogler realizes why there should be an adult Black Panther man. I don't think Ryan Coogler may be fully aware to the extent on why it's important to have T'Challa on screen, because I think, and this is just me theorizing, that he feels like T'Challa Jr. can continue those stories. Because unfortunately, when you're in the movie business, these creatives are aware the movies are different from the comic books. The movies are different from the literature. That is why you're seeing a lot of retelling of these stories that are very just different from what the source material is. We see it on Interview with the Vampire. We're watching it on House of the Dragon. We saw it in Game of Thrones. So I don't know if maybe everybody just doesn't read other things and then watch it on TV, and you see how far they divert from the source material. I think that's also why maybe he feels like what he's doing, there's nothing wrong with it. we're seeing that with Children of Blood and Bone. People are very upset about the casting of the princess. The author from the book cast the princess. She's involved in the casting process. So if the author of Children of Blood and Bone is making a decision for the cinema, for the movie, that is different from the books, how you gonna be mad? I say that to say, like, the movie business is just not the literature. It's not the comics. So everybody may not look at keeping that type of continuity going. This is why you get race swaps. This is why you get changes of the story. Civil War was not Civil War in the comic books. Secret Invasion was not Secret Invasion in the comic books. Secret Wars is probably not about to be Secret Wars in the comic books. I do not think this is about to be a one-for-one book to screen. I think they are about to make some very ambitious changes that's going to make it easy for the general audience to take in this film. So yeah, I think we all want to see T'Challa on the screen with that gauntlet. I think we're saying we want to see T'Challa, but unfortunately other people might say, hey, as long as it's a Black Panther, you know, it's kind of similar to the comics. So that's what makes everything kind of difficult, is because everybody just does not see everything through the same lens. That's just the reality of it. But yo, thanks for always hanging out with me. Recast T'Challa. Peace.